Sally?
Susan.
Susan.
Can I ask you something?
Of course you can, darling. Anything you like.
Well, it's of a personal nature.
It's quite all right. My life's an open book.
Well, it's this. Have you really got a twin brother?
Yes, that's right. Our Boris. We're identical twins.
Only one of the girls at work says that you haven't got a brother at all. She says you've made him up.
What should I want to make him up for? He lives, he exists, he breathes. We were born of the same loins.
All right, don't get carried away. I believe you. But it seems funny that I've never met him.
It's not funny at all. I've told you he lives down in London. He's got this big flat in Chelsea.
I thought it was in Hampstead.
Yeah, well, it is. It's on the borders of Chelsea and Hampstead.
Still seems funny. And anyway, how come he goes to London and you stay here in this dump?
Oh, well. He had this very unhappy love affair, you see. He was engaged to this girl. Barbara, her name was. And he broke it off. So he went down to London to forget.
Thought you joined the Foreign Legion to forget.
Yeah, well, it did cross his mind. But then he was offered this 10,000 a year, you know, as a commercial artist. So he went down to London instead.
Would you like you? You're Boris.
In many ways. I suppose he's got more confidence, more courage. And he's more ruthless. At the same time, he's shrewd. Mature. Intelligent. But above all, compassionate. He knows what life's all about, our Boris does. Do you know when he wants to, he can charm the birds off the trees.
It doesn't sound like you at all.
That's because you don't know me very well.
It sounds very interesting, though. I'd love to meet him.
Well, I hope you will one of these days.
One of these days. You're always saying that. Doesn't he ever come home for weekends?
Yeah, of course he does. As a matter of fact, I had a phone call from his secretary this morning. With a bit of luck, he should be home this afternoon.
This afternoon? Billy, why didn't you tell me? Look, I've got a smashing idea. I'll ring up a friend and we can make up a foursome.
Yes, well, that's impossible, isn't it? Because don't you remember, you're spending the weekend with your cousin in Macclesfield.
Oh, I was, but she's got mumps. It's been cancelled.
Talk your way out of this one, Fisher.
Deepest sympathy, Billy.
Thanks, Mr. Shadrach. You've never called me Billy before.
I feel for you, Billy. I've never told you this before, but I had a twin brother myself once. He was my very first customer. Tell me, if you can bear to talk about it, how did it happen?
Well, he was driving home for the weekend as usual, Mr. Shadrach. 100 miles an hour. His dirty great juggernaut swerved in front of him. The Maserati was a write-off. His very last wish was
Yes, Billy.
to be buried by the co-op.
What are you laughing at? Don't just sit there laughing. Am I going to meet your twin brother or not?
Yes, well, there are certain difficulties, Susan.
Yeah, and I bet I know what they are. You've been lying to me, haven't you?
Me? Lie? What for?
Well, exaggerating then. I bet he's not a commercial artist. I bet he's an office junior like somebody else I know.
He's a highly successful commercial artist. He designed a commemorative postage stamp last week in honour of Sarah Bernhardt.
I'm not completely ignorant, Billy. Sarah Bernhardt was French.
Yeah, well, it was a French postage stamp. He spends a lot of time over there, you know. As a matter of fact, quite often when he's just setting off for home, he gets this urgent phone call to be taken back to Paris.
I don't know why you're going to all this trouble to wriggle out of it. If you don't want me to meet your brother, all you've got to say is that he's got another date.
Just nod, Billy. That's all it needs. Just nod your head. Whatever you do, don't open your stupid, silly, big mouth. No, he hasn't got another date, Susan. No, I tell you what we ought to do, though. You find a friend, we'll all go to the Regal. I'll meet you in the foyer at 6 o'clock.
That's more like it.
What are we going to do now, then, Boris? Play it by ear.
I don't know where to get to, Mr. Shadrach. You see, it's every Saturday you like. She cooks his dinner at 1:30, and then it gets stone bloody cold.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Shadrach, that's probably our Billy now.
And if he cracks on his down at the infirmary with a strained ligament like what he did last week, you tell him he'll have a strained bloody neck if I get hold of him.
Alice Fisher speaking. Oh, hello, Barbara. No, he hasn't turned up. You're still waiting dinner for him. Yes, I'll give him a message. You can see him tonight. Oh, he will be pleased. You'll meet him tonight outside the Regal at 6 o'clock. What's the film you're going to see? Oh, that'll be nice. Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. I'm like you, Barbara. I like a nice tearjerker. Well, I'll tell Billy the moment he comes in for his dinner. Lunch. Bye-bye, Barbara.
Of course, you know what it is, Mr. Shadrach. He's got wind that you want his guts for garters and he's lying bloody low. That's what he's doing.
No doubt, Mr. Fisher. I expect he's been tipped off by one of his lady friends at the corporation graveyard.
But I still don't understand what he's supposed to have done, Mr. Shadrach.
A stone angel, Mrs. Fisher, life-size.
Life-size?
Well, what we assume to be life-size for our limited knowledge of the hereafter. A stone angel that was commissioned, sculpted and paid for, but which never turned up.
Well, perhaps it got lost in the post.
It did not get lost in the post, Mrs. Fisher. It was collected in a plain van by a young man who swore he was working for the corporation cemetery. That angel has flown.
I saw an angel once at the bottom of my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Florence, it said, "I've come for you." I said, "Oh, no, you haven't." And I chucked a shoe at it.
Shut up, Mother, till we get this settled, because Mr. Shadrach is making a very serious accusation.
He is indeed. It's a bloody police matter if it ever gets out.
"Are you coming?" it said. "No," I said, "I'm not." "Well," he said, "in that case, I'll come back for you when you're 95.
Oh, God almighty. Another bloody 15 years to go, you.
Well, I don't want him. I want the corn. And I don't want cremating, I want burying.
Can't you shut her up, Alice? I'm entire bloody stocking round her mouth. Now, look, Mr. Shadrach, this man who swiped your angel, did he get his description?
Medium height, slightly built, long hair, tapering hands, a dark suit, and a black moustache.
Oh, well, in that case, it can't have been our Billy.
Thank God for that. He may have his faults, Mr. Shadrach, but one thing that useless little swine has not got, and that is a bloody black moustache.
I am not saying that your son is the ringleader, Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. I am simply saying that I should be very, very surprised if he isn't involved somewhere down the line.
Oh, well, there, I'm not arguing with you, Mr. Shadrach. Oh, yes, he knows something about that missing angel of yours, but that is why he's bloody skulking. Hello? What was that noise?
What noise?
There's a noise upstairs. Didn't you hear it? Like a creaking floorboard. Is our Billy in?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, there's somebody in the bloody house. You listen.
Fanny by gaslight. First the floorboards creak, and then they lower the lights. They're trying to send us all mad. Oh, that's what they're doing.
And in her case, they bloody succeeded. Look, shut up a minute, listen.
Well, I can't hear nothing.
Are you sure?
I can't hear anything.
Well, that only means one thing. He's listening behind that door. Oh, I'll go to bloody Australia.
I know that fellow. He works in the greengrocer's shop. But he doesn't wear glasses.
Oh, it's our Billy, Mother. Anyone can see it's our Billy.
Oh, can you recognise me then?
Well, I should hope so after all these years. And what's this rig out in aid of?
Oh, I'm going to a fancy dress party.
And you need to go to a fancy dress party. Hey, you better go as convict 90-bloody-9, because you'll be breaking stone on Dartmoor when Mr. Shadrach's finished with you.
A young man of medium height, slightly built, long hair, and sporting a black moustache. Fisher, what have you done with my statue?
What statue, Mr. Shadrach?
What statue? If you don't stop saying what, I'll clip you round your ear off. Mr. Shadrach, you have my permission to bang our Billy's head against that bloody doorpost.
One hardly thinks violence is the answer, Mr. Fisher. The angel I'm referring to, Fisher, is the life-size job for the Matheson plot at St. Helens. It's walked. nothing to smile about, Fisher. That angel has been stolen.
I don't think so, Mr. Shadrach. I think you'll find it's in the crypt at St. Helens.
It's not in the crypt at St. Helens. I've looked.
Well, it must be, Mr. Shadrach, because the verger came in and signed for it.
Verger? What verger?
Well, he was a young man of medium height, slim build, long hair and a black moustache. I'm sorry, Mr. Shadrach, I forgot to tell you about it.
You did ask for some proof of his identity, I suppose.
No, Mr. Shadrach, I forgot.
And you gave him permission to remove this statue?
Yes, Mr. Shadrach.
Without consulting me?
Well, you were in the chapel of rest, Mr. Shadrach. I didn't want to disturb you. I thought you might be praying.
Mr. Fisher, we are on the horns of a dilemma. Either your son is lying through his teeth, or he has the mental age of a 4-year-old child.
Mr. Shadrach!
Whichever it is, I regret to say he has no future in the funeral furnishing profession.
Does that mean I'm sacked?
No, it does not mean that you are sacked. You will be at that bloody desk 9 o'clock on Monday morning, and you will get no wages until Mr. Shadrach's angel has been paid for.
Oh, 6 weeks' wages at the very least. I shall relish that.
But I haven't got your angel.
I don't care whether you've got it or not. It'll teach you a lesson.
A kick up the backside is what he wants. Or take a rolling pin to him.
The subject is closed, Mother. Now, sit yourself down, Billy. I'll give you a meal.
No, thanks. I'm going out to this fancy dress ball I was telling you about.
Fancy dress ball at this time of day?
Yeah, it's at the Corn Exchange. It's in aid of the Princess Wilhelmina's Fund for Retired Deep-Sea Divers. You should come. You'd enjoy it.
Oh, don't talk wet. What would we do with being at a fancy dress bloody ball?
Mr. and Mrs. Geoffrey Fisher. Mr. Emmanuel Shadrach. Grandma Boothroyd.
Anyway, Billy, whatever you were thinking of doing, you can forget it, because you're meeting Barbara.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the thing, you see. I can't, because I'm working over.
You are not working over, Fisher.
No, I didn't mean for you, Mr. Shadrach. I meant in my part-time job. I do voluntary work at the old people's home.
You don't get me in no old people's home. They put potato peelings in the Irish stew.
Give her a peppermint, Geoffrey. That'll shut her up. Now, listen now, Billy. You are meeting your fiancée. You are meeting her at 6 o'clock outside the Regal.
It's impossible.
There's a film she specially wants to see.
Yeah, well, I especially want to see it as well. But the only thing is, I've arranged to go with a mate.
Well, you just have to put him off, won't you?
It's not as easy as it sounds. What are you going to do now, then, Billy? God knows.
Those twin brothers of yours, are they?
Oh, Billy's always late. Anyway, his brother's driving up from London, so he's probably been held up.
Yeah, well, I'm not waiting all night.
You shouldn't be here, Fisher. You realise that, don't you? Yes, I do. You should be 10 miles away, shouldn't you? Yes, I should. Do you know, Fisher, if you were an early Christian, you'd walk straight into the lion's den, wouldn't you? Yes, I would. Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, it's a free country.
I was just doing me barnyard imitations. Only there's a talent contest on at the Corn Exchange on Monday.
Good luck.
Oh, I'm in the finals. Huey Green's coming up specially. I'll probably be on Opportunity Knocks next week.
Good deal.
I say, I don't know if you do anything special tonight, but I wondered if you might like to come to this little Chinese restaurant. Some other time, then, eh? Well, what are you going to do, Billy? Perm anyone from 3 or what? Think, Fisher, think.
No, is she we going to be all night? They'll be playing the national bloody anthem before we get there.
Come on, Mother, you can put your bonnet on in the van.
I don't want to go in any tram. They make me badly.
The van, Mother, the van! We haven't had trams for 15 years.
And another thing, if those Von Trapp kiddies are not in it, I'm coming straight back.
You're not going to see The Sound of Music, Mother. You've seen The Sound of Music 68 times. We're going to see a different picture.
Isn't Julie Andrews in it?
Tell her yes. She doesn't know the difference between Julie bloody Andrews and Groucho bloody Marx.
You'll enjoy it, Mother. Barbara highly recommends it.
Come on, for God's sake.
Now, listen, Geoffrey, if you catch our Billy smoking in the back stalls, don't make a scene till we get him back home.
Now, be fair, Alice. When have you known me make a bloody scene?
Well, I say we should call it a day.
Oh, let's give him 5 more minutes. I'm down to see what Billy's brother looks like.
Well, I'm down to see what either of them looks like, but we've been stood up, haven't we?
Well, he wouldn't do that, wouldn't Billy? Look, there's a phone box on the corner. I'll go and ring up and see if he's set off.
And if he hasn't, tell him not to bother.
Excuse me, are you Susan's friend?
Yes, that's right, Joyce Potter.
Ah, Boris Fisher's the name. Billy's brother. Pleased to meet you. Sorry I'm late. Only the Maserati turned over on the M1.
Well, where's Billy then? Susan's just gone to ring him up.
Oh, yes. Well, he'll probably be a bit late. Only he's got to run my sister over to the maternity home.
I didn't know you had a sister as well.
Oh, yes. She's expecting twins. It runs in families, as I expect you know.
Well, your Billy won't be long, because the big film starts in a few minutes.
Yes, well, he does have other plans.
What other plans? Where are we going?
We are going to the cinema. Come on, I've got the tickets.
Well, just a minute. What about Billy and Susan?
Yes, well, he doesn't want us here when they turn up.
Why not?
Well, he's got something rather private and personal he wants to say to Susan.
Private and personal? You don't mean...
I've seen the engagement ring. It's a smasher.
And he's going to ask her to marry him. Well, no wonder he wants us out of the way.
It'll be a nice surprise for her, won't it?
Oh, fantastic. Some people have all the luck.
You never been engaged then, Joyce?
No, never.
Stick with me, kid.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, that's quite all right.
I don't know. Bloody car sick at her age. I don't know why we can't leave her at home.
Well, what can you expect, Geoffrey? Dumping her in the back of the van like a sack of potato.
I can't have her in the front with me. I've only got to brake and she'd go through the bloody windscreen.
She's changed as Julie Andrews. She's dyed her hair.
Yes, that's right, Mother. Now, come on, otherwise we'll be late. Oh, hello, there's Barbara.
Oh, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. Have you seen your Billy?
Hasn't he turned up yet? He left home over an hour ago.
Trust him. You know what he's done. He's gone to the wrong bloody cinema.
No, I definitely told him the Regal.
And he wouldn't have gone to the other cinema because he knows they don't like sex films. Oh, Mrs. Fisher, do you think something's happened to him?
With any luck, it could have happened, yes. By now, he ought to be underneath a bloody bus.
Oh, Geoffrey!
Look, excuse me for butting in, but you didn't happen to notice the girl I was with a few minutes ago?
Well, yes, I did. I was admiring her coat.
Only she seems to have vanished. I've looked in the ladies, I've looked everywhere.
Oh, well, I think I can help you there. She's just gone into the stalls.
What, on her own?
No, with a chap.
Well, of all the nerve. What chap? What did he look like?
Well, I didn't take much notice. Sort of medium height, slightly built with long hair.
Billy Fisher. I'll strangle him.
Billy Fisher? Did you say Billy Fisher?
Say no more, not another word, Barbara. In the stalls, did you say?
Yes, but it couldn't have been Billy, Mr. Fisher, because he had a moustache.
I know he did. I'll ram it down his throat before I finish with him. I'm sorry, miss, I haven't got a ticket, but this is an emergency. It's a hospital case. Could I trouble you for your talk, huh?
Boris? Boris who?
Boris Fisher. He's Billy's brother who lives in London.
Has he been telling you that? What does he get out of it, Barbara? That's what I'd like to know.
Yes, and what I'd like to know is what my Billy means to this girl.
Well, we go out, don't we? I mean, we're practically engaged.
Oh, Mrs. Fisher!
There, Barbara, don't take on so. I'm sure it'll all sort itself out.
That's not Julie Andrews, that isn't. She doesn't wear fishnet stockings. Disgusting.
I'll never speak to him again. Never. Oh, Billy, how could you?
Will you get off my bloody neck? You're hurting me.
I'll do more than hurt you, Rod. I will bloody murder you. Now then, you idle young swine. What is your game?
Well, if you get off my neck, I might explain.
Let go of him. People are staring.
And I'll give him something to stare at in a minute. All right, then, go on. We're waiting.
Thank you. Right.
Now, for all to remain quite calm and quiet, I shall begin at the beginning.
As far as I'm concerned, you can begin at the end and work your way back. I'm going.
Oh, must you leave so soon? I'll get you a taxi.
Hey, you come back here!
Boris,
Yes, darling?
can I ask you something?
Of course you can. Anything you like.
It's about your twin brother.
Oh, Billy. What do you want to know?
Well, is he like you?
Well, it's difficult to say, really. Our paths haven't really crossed since he went to New Zealand.
Isn't he very young to have his own sheep farm?
Yes, but you must remember he did inherit £300,000.
That's what I don't understand. How come your father left all that money to him and nothing to you?
Well, tradition. He was the eldest son.
I thought you were twins.
Yeah, well, we are. But he was born 1 minute to midnight, and I was born 1 minute past. C'est la vie.
Well, you've taken it very well, I must say. I mean, you're not bitter.
Well, there's nothing to be bitter about, really, is there? I mean, our Billy, he'd have made his mark on the world, even without the legacy. He's got great drive, ambition. He's got this fantastic imagination.
Well, you've got a fantastic imagination, too.
Do you think so?
Of course you have. For instance, inviting me out to breakfast. There's no other lad in this town would have thought of that.
It's all part of the service.
Good morning, Fisher.
Morning, Mr. Shadrach. Oh, Miss Hopkins, this is Mr. Shadrach.
How do you do? Has this young man been trying to sell you anything by any chance?
No.
Well, there's been no talk of a life-size angel that fell off the back of a lorry.
No?
Are you proposing to put in an appearance this morning, Fisher?
Yes, Mr. Shadrach, I'm just having a working breakfast.
Well, I suggest you curtail it and see that you're suitably attired. It's a funeral furnishers you're working for, not a discotheque.
Funeral furnishers? I thought you worked on commercial radio.
Yes, well, I do, but I've got this part-time job at the funeral furnitures. You know, just to earn some money, because I'm going to America.
What's wrong with your Billy? Why didn't he send you some money?
Well, I've got my pride.
Fisher, I had a hat when I came into this cafe. Where is it?
I don't know, Mr. Shadrach.
Don't prevaricate, Fisher. A glossy top hat. What have you done with it?
Honestly, Mr. Shadrach, I haven't seen it.
Excuse me? I think the waitress picked it up, actually. She put it behind that screen.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is he all right in the head?
He takes drugs.
Fisher. Fisher! I want a word with you, Fisher!
Very sad case, really. That's what comes of making model aeroplanes. He started by sniffing the glue.
Do you really only work for him part-time?
Yes, that's right, 6 hours a week.
Then why are you so scared of him? The truth now.
All right, if you really want the truth. It was only 3 hours a week, actually.
You know what I think? You don't work on commercial radio at all. You made it up.
What should I make it up for?
Because you're envious of your brother, that's why. He's got freedom, you haven't.
Do you think so?
I know so.
You're right there, Maureen. He has got freedom. He's got real freedom as our Billy. Only nobody knows it except him. He can do what he wants, go where he wants, be what he wants. And no one can stop him. He's as free as a bird.